What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you. We always start some weird ass way. So
We do start some weird way.
cold open.
Bonjour.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the F1 Underground Show. If you're watching through video, you can see that we have a special friend with us.
Yes, we do.
This is, for those who are unaware, this is Christian. He is primarily on streamer season with Underground Sports, our network of shows and everything. He talks with Kyle. They talk movies, TVs, all that stuff. I've been meaning to catch up on some episodes too, because I saw you guys have been talking X-Men 97, and I need to listen to that.
So full disclosure on that, Kyle's had a backload of episodes. So yesterday he probably dropped episodes from like 3 to 4 weeks ago.
Awesome.
We'll give it.
Yeah, so it's been that type of stretch for Kyle.
Yeah. I was wondering the other day. I was like, wait, where? I was like, I haven't seen streamer seasons post in so long. Now it makes sense. Okay.
Yeah,
That tracks.
Kyle's been dealing with life stuff.
Yeah.
Even though we've been recording every week,
They're just not. Yeah.
you're just not making it out.
Makes sense.
And
Hey, and I feel like that's fine for you guys. That show.
yeah, and he also apparently labeled. He also labeled multiple episodes the same thing, so we had to go through and figure that out. But
Go work.
Sorry,
Go
Kyle.
work, Kyle.
We're sorry this episode is shit talking on Kyle. Sorry.
Yeah.
thanks for listening,
For the
Kyle.
first 5 minutes, there's
We love you,
shit from
Kyle.
We love you, Kyle.
And that was our cold open for today. Thank you so much
there
for
you go.
joining.
So welcome everyone. Like we said, this is our friend Christian. He is another big motorsport racing fan. Specifically, what we're talking with him about is 24 hours of Le Mans. Obviously, it was this past weekend. It was June 15th to June 16th. It started 10 a.m. Eastern time to 10 a.m. the next day. Obviously, that's 24 hours.
Thank you.
So, yeah, sorry.
Thanks, Captain
You know,
Obvious.
I started the sentence and I just lost where it was going to go, so I just kind of ran with it. It's the Michael Scott quote where he's like, "I usually start a sentence and just like figure out where it's going the halfway there." That's pretty much me.
Yeah, that's the
Yes, this is episode 60.
Oh, good question. Hold on.
66?
No, it's not 66.
Ah, damn! I was really hoping for like an order
65.
66, I think 65
Next week you can say order 66.
Yes, so I have to find a Star Wars meme for next week too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, so what you need?
Here we go.
What you need is you need some sort of team orders to happen in Spain. You need some sort of team orders, or you need some Toto Wolff race.
Yeah, I would say Darth
Toto.
We need Darth Toto.
George, swap
That's what I'll
places.
be.
Luis, swap places.
That's what I'll be. That's what I'll be rooting for then.
What, rain? Or
Well, no, just what Christian's
Rain,
saying.
please,
Team
no.
orders or some sort of meme with Lewis or Toto sitting looking really pissed off or something. That's what I'll be hoping for.
yeah,
in
I can
Spain.
deal with a race without rain. After watching Le Mans and Canada with all that rain, I'm okay. I'm okay for a while.
The difference is F1 with the rain is still functional, even if it's a little rain in any wet race. Can I curse on this pod?
Yes, you can.
Mhm.
Shit just goes sideways so fast at times. Which
Yes.
if you were watching when the rain started, and we'll get this, but the first time the rain started, Congrats, Penske, and we'll get to that.
Yeah. And then I feel like it just didn't stop raining. Also, quick look. This is jumping ahead. There is a 60% chance of rain right now on Sunday in Barcelona. So
Awesome. Awesome.
Go into that triple header with some rain. But yeah,
But
we're
yeah,
just gonna jump right into our Le Mans recap. Change up the order a little bit, but yeah. I guess I don't even know where you want to start. I know you have some notes, but
well, I mean, I know I messaged Owen about this, but Owen,
yes.
did you get a chance to rewatch the last 10 minutes of qualifying?
I couldn't watch, so like I wasn't able to watch just like specifically the last 10 minutes, but I did watch the highlights of it, and it is something that I need to go back and watch, because the fact that it came down to that much of the wire, it was nuts. Like I even felt it like watching the highlights. Like I was like, oh my God. Like, and it wasn't even the full thing. It was like I was just sitting there and I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like, I was like, this is insane. And I definitely want to go back and like rewatch all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, basically what happened in qualifying was there was a red flag at the 7-minute and change mark.
Yes.
In Hyperpole, which is specifically the top 8 cars in each class doing what equates to a 30-minute qualifying session to then set the top 8 in each category for the race. The number 12 Hertz Team Jury Team was not taking part in the hypercar because Cal Mila just decided to skid off into a wall the prior night, wrecked their chassis, and basically everything to where they had to borrow a chassis from Penske. They had to fly in a bunch of new stuff and build the car from scratch in 22 hours.
So wild.
That's wild. Yeah.
And they said it typically takes 3 weeks to build the car, which again, that's just psycho shit.
Yeah. Shout out to the mechanics.
and then the car that caused the red flag, which if you cause a red flag in qualifying, you lose all your times. So that was the BMW who beached you in the gravel. So we entered the last 7 minutes with the number 3 yellow Cadillac, the most cursed car in sports car racing, and I will explain it as this goes on. With the provisional pole time up 7/10 on the next closest car, driven by the son of the town of Le Mans, Sebastian Bourdais, who people may know him for a somewhat anonymous IndyCar career, may know him for if I remember Googling this correctly, he was alongside Vettel in Toro Rosso.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I feel like you are correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sebastian Bourdais has been around forever, and also, while people won't think this is as cool, so I believe it was the kart series which ended up merging with IndyCar in like 2006, but people like Will Power were racing in that. He won all 4 titles.
Oh wow!
Before they merged. So Sebastian Bourdais is a very legit driver, and he was for all intents and purposes, no one expected Caddy to be up that high. And so we get into the last few laps, and the number 2 Cadillac, which is the blue Cadillac full season one, is on a burner of a lap. They had a faster first sector, a slower second sector, and they put together this burner of a third sector to be able to snatch away pole. But meanwhile, Kevin Estre, who is, I think, a driver who, outside the F1 sphere, is one of the best pure drivers of any car, because he he has a background in GT racing. He drove GT Porsches forever. You can look up some of the laps he has done on the Nürburgring. This is a dude who fully embodies the "I don't care, I'm sending this" method. Like, and you see it in that lap. He is wrangling this car, which is on dead tires, and is tenths off, and like hundredths off, and then in the final sector snatches the pole position away. It is. I suggest everyone looks up the last 7 minutes of it. The great thing about all of this being on Max is they just have all the replays of everything there, so you can just go back and watch you can go and watch the entire race in all of our in all 4 parts, every practice session, every qualifying session. It's great. But I would encourage anyone to go back and watch that.
But we just got our Max backs yesterday, so I'm definitely going back and watching.
Yeah. That's part of the reason why I wanted it back so badly.
But I do want to note, and now I've talked about like 5 minutes on qualifying, and we haven't started the
no, but qualifying was so
race,
intense.
But there's one key thing to talk about, and that's there. And this is key when it comes to the race. There was no Toyota, and the reason there was no Toyota is because as the qualifying, not the hyperpole, the qualifying session on Thursday on Wednesday was winding down. Kamui Kobayashi in the number 7 Toyota, who once again former F1 driver, holds the lap record at Le Mans, and his nickname is the Boss. Not only because he's the team principal of Toyota Gazoo Racing, so he's literally his own boss.
It's so cool.
He's literally the team boss of the team he drives for. But he is outrageously fast and psycho. And again, he's one of the drivers where if you just look at his F1 career, you're just like, oh, but you look at him in sports cars and you're like, Jesus Christ, man. He was sitting 4th and was on a burner of a lap to try and again, he was already safe. There was maybe 3 other people on a faster lap. Well, also on a fast lap, but he still would have been safe. And as he's going out of the Porsche curves, he takes a monster amount of curb and beaches himself in the gravel with like 10-15 seconds left, causes a red flag, which basically stops every other team who was on that hot lap from none of their times and end up counting, which saved the number 6 Porsche, which got pole, but it also knocked him, because he caused the red flag, to the back of the hypercar grid for the race. And then
we know where they finished. That is impressive.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
We'll talk about it. And then just to touch on LMP2 and LMP2 and LMGT3, LMP2, which is LMP2 Pro-Am, and normal LMP2, which for those of you who don't know, LMP2 Pro-Am is basically there is an FIA driver grading system where bronze drivers are like amateur drivers, which they're typically like either younger people or they are rich guys who have a lot of money. For example, the person who took overall LMP2 pole was which was the Aobai TF car, which is known as Spike.
The Dragon.
Yes, Spike the Dragon. The guy who was driving that lap, PJ Hyatt. Do you know what he was the founder of?
PJ Hyatt?
Yeah.
No.
I was gonna say I'm clueless to
GitHub.
GitHub?
Yep. The website hosting service.
I was gonna say that's a hosting site for programmers and coders.
Yep.
That's what that is. That's
Yep. And that
hilarious.
guy's racing
In
at
Le Mans.
Yep. And right, CrowdStrike
Cool.
by APR. George Kurtz, the founder of CrowdStrike, just driving at Le Mans. Cheers! Like it's very amusing. But AO by TF took pole. Both United Autosports teams, which for those of you who don't know, Zach Brown co-owns United
Yes.
Autosports, which I don't know if you guys are going to talk about.
Yes.
McLaren IndyCar later today.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Which
We are.
which in case people didn't know, Nolan Siegel was driving the Le Mans winning United Autosports car. And then McLaren also took LMGT3 pole with Porsches and Aston Martins following, and my beloved Iron Dames were one spot out of LMGT3 Hyperpole, which again, the most cursed team in sports cars, probably even more than the yellow Cadillac. But okay. I've spent 10 minutes here talking about qualifying.
No, you had to set up the race. It was fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more information than we would have been able to pull out of it. So
Yeah.
Okay. So we have the grid for this race. I kind of have a timeline on my phone, but we knew going into this race, rain was going to come.
Yeah.
Yep. We knew it was a factor.
Yes, and we especially knew it was going to be a factor on the Sunday. What we didn't quite know is late in the forecast, spotty rain was going to appear on Saturday. And so we get off to a clean start, relatively clean start on this race.
Yeah, I would say it was clean.
Yeah.
Which isn't always a guarantee at Le Mans, but yeah. And so the rain hits at 22:30 left. So I have all these times counting down.
Yeah.
Because that's the timestamp on thing. 22:30 rain hits. And this was the part where this was the first spot where the race flipped on its head. Because you had most of the field go to the wets, except for it was the Lamborghinis, which shout out break, race engineering, one of those cars. The number 84 yellow Ferrari, which we will be talking about later, which is a fan favorite.
I was sad for them.
I mean, I'm not that sad, but
no, I'm not. Considering the outcome, but
and considering what Kubica did, which we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But rain hits for a few Ferraris, a Lamborghini, and there's one other team that stuck out that didn't go in that is escaping me.
Yeah, there was another.
But I'm not about to dig up the replay mid pod, but it's the
dig up the full transcripts of the event.
Yeah, but basically, the rain didn't last long enough in this stretch for the wet tires to stick enough, and so the main people who suffered here were the Porsches, who pitted, specifically the number 6 Porsche, because they were some of the last to pit onto the wets.
Yes. Yeah.
And they had to pit, and they went from being basically fighting in that pack, which they eventually got back to them later in the race. But they then got punted down into 14 and 13, and it was miserable to watch. It was certifiably miserable because this is a car that should be fighting in the top, and it was stuck just in the no man's land and had me begging for a safety car, which again, We'll get to that.
One game.
So at 22-17, that was when I believe Kubica passed for the lead off of the Ferrari. Well, off of the red Ferrari, I
Yeah.
should say, because he was also
Yes.
driving the yellow Ferrari, which this is going to confuse some people. So the factory Ferrari team is Ferrari AF Corsa.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Everyone ready?
Yeah.
Kubica was just driving for AF Corsa.
Yes. That's why that was the thing. I was like, why is there Ferrari logos and then there's Ferrari, but then there's the AF Corsa? I was like, I'm very confused. So thank you.
It's sports car racing, everybody. What can I tell you? But then there was, and I would be remiss to mention the in between this pass for the lead and the next notable point in the race. I don't know if Alpine fully realized that you don't take a GP2/F2 engine and expect it to run for 24 hours. But when that was announced, everyone was like, "Guys, please don't do this. Please don't do this." And surely enough, the
They did
first
it.
Le Mans, within the first 4 hours, both engines blow.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Lovely.
it was absolutely hilarious because the first one blows coming off of the straight, I think. And so he just kind of smokes off into the runoff area and gets taken off. And then we're kind of not thinking about it. And then like 10 to 15 minutes later, it cuts to the garage with the other Alpine parked in the garage with the rear engine cover off. And you're like, oh no.
They're done.
Oh, no.
That's not good.
Yeah, that's not good. One car's engine blows up. The other
Maybe
one
we
is
should
just
save.
The other one's now just inconspicuously somehow made its way to the garage. Now there's suddenly a camera on it with the engine cover off. Surely this won't go well. But then probably the most discussion-stirring point happened, which we are entering what I like to call Le Mans After Dark.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
When it's bright lights.
because once it starts to turn tonight, it doesn't matter how well things went in the day, shit's just gonna go sideways. It happens every year. Last year most notably, you guys, I think from watching, hopefully understand the concept of a slow zone.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got it.
So basically, for the listeners who don't know, a slow zone, because this is a 13-kilometer track, is basically, to put it in F1 terms, a localized yellow flag in between the mini sectors.
Mm-hmm.
But at Le Mans, it's done by the marshal posts. So last year, there was an incident between two GT cars, an LMP2 car, and Kamui Kobayashi, where they all slowed down going into a slow zone, and then GT3 I forget which car it was, but rammed into Kamui, who rammed into the LMP2, and basically the Toyota got knocked out of the race because the hybrid system was unstable. Which just great, just great. But this didn't disappoint because Le Mans After Dark kicks in with a frustrated Robert Kubica bonking a BMW hypercar off the road by just knocking the left front tire of him, spinning him into a wall, and somehow the Porsche behind both them managed to not hit anything.
Yeah, that was shocking.
And the real damning part was, I didn't hear the radio, but from everything I was seeing on social media, it seemed like Kubica was a rather frustrated man heading into it, and said something along the lines of like, "That's what you get," which coming from a guy like him,
Yeah.
who specifically had that rally crash. I mean, that's large, buddy. And this is where and this is where we have to go for a minute into which, by the way, that caused the first safety car of the race, which thankfully I'd been begging for too many laps, so I could get my Porsches back in the fight. But what's the right way to put this? We need to talk about my beloved, but he had a questionable race. Good old race director Eduardo Freitas, which, for people who don't know him, he was race director in F1 like last year for like 2 races and said, "Nope, I'm good. I'm not dealing with
Oh,
all this."
yeah.
That's right.
But he has been the guy in WEC, and he also is just a guy who's willing to call out drivers BS and just there's
Bring him back.
there's a famous clip from, I don't remember what year of Le Mans it was, but he makes a comment to all teams that drivers need to learn how to properly do blank, and it's just like, but buddy, you know this is going out publicly, right?
Yeah. It's gonna be a meme everywhere. Just
It's great, but for an unnecessary incident, taking a car out of a race, which historically would be a 1 minute, 2 minute stop and hold, it was a 30-second stop and go.
Yo.
Which for taking a car out of the race is kind of weak, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a little weak.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about penalties as we get into the last few hours of this, but also in Le Mans After Dark, we had what I like to call is drivers getting headstrong in terms of LMP2s beaching each other in gravel traps and everything. It's like, you didn't have to do this. There's still 18 hours left here. Explain to me your thought process here. Why are you going for this out of Dunlop when you can just, I don't know, wait 2 corners? I don't know. There's still 16 hours left. I don't think waiting 2 corners is a bad idea here. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but
He said nah.
But that happened at 17:23 after a long safety car because they had to fix a big bent-in barrier there, which they had to fix. So after an hour and a half,
that safety car was long.
They were able to restart their switch. This was the most time under safety car, which we'll get to this later for everyone. But by the time which also good on them, because one thing that WEC does great is they don't is if a crash causes a safety car, they wait till after the safety car comes in to dish out the penalties, so you don't get a So basically, as soon as the race restarted, Kubica's penalty was announced.
Ugh.
And so he had to go and serve it, and by that point, the running order was 8, 6, 7, which is a Toyota, Porsche, Toyota, the 50 Ferrari, and the number 2 Caddy.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, we'll talk about the number 2 Caddy later on in this. And then every Italian became sad as Ahmed El-Hardy coming out of the pits on slick tires on a slightly wet track, bins it coming out of Dunlop, and Valentino Rossi's Le Mans is ended after 15 hours and ended at the 15:19 mark, which that sucks because
the
driver did nothing wrong and it wasn't a heavy hit. It's just things happen at Le Mans, and you put your bronze driver in on a slick track, which, in Ahmed Al-Hardi's defense, he is one of the best bronze drivers in terms of pace.
He knows what okay.
It's just Le Mans does stuff.
Yeah.
And that happened.
Especially that late.
And so at 14:15, and this is something I wanted to highlight, Andre Lauter went back in the number 6 Porsche. This dude raced only 4 hours.
Yeah.
Because which listen, all due respect to him, he has won Le Mans multiple times. In that number 6 Porsche lineup, he was an anchor. As in, he was losing a second a lap at times, which, congrats, Andre, but I think you're gonna be replaced next year.
Yeah.
You could be replaced by Callum Islet. You could be replaced by someone in the Proton Porsche like Julian Andlauer, but you're probably getting replaced.
Yeah.
You're probably getting replaced. And then for the comedy stretch of the night, I have to talk about at how just before halfway through, the CrowdStrike car coming out of the pits in its outlap loses its tire.
Oh yes, it was just. Yes. I forgot about this.
This was one of the first things I saw when I woke up the next morning. I was like, "Oh, would you look at that?"
Poor Colin Braun lost his tire.
It's like the mechanic was asleep at the gun.
which, speaking of mechanics, this was your first time properly watching Le Mans, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
when
pretty much.
Things turn tonight, the comedy in the garages from them, it's so much fun.
I wish they would just put they should just do split screen, because when they just ghost them in the garage, you're like, what are they going to be doing? What?
Yeah, I know. Which again, people like, oh, it's 24 hours. Why would I watch it? Like,
for that.
Well, yes, but also, here's one thing you have to learn: you don't have to pay hard attention for most of the race.
No,
it's literally like you can be on your phone or on your laptop and just have it on over there, which after the first hour and a half is what I was doing. But again,
I feel like that's what everybody does. But yeah.
So that, if I remember correctly, maybe caused a safety car because they had to figure out how to get it out.
I think they did. Yeah.
And I can't remember if this also happened here, but was this also when the dog came out on track?
I was waiting for you to mention the dog. I feel like it was very close after he lost the wheel that the dog was then on track. I
thought the dog was.
The dog was during a safety car.
During light, and the wheel came off in dark, didn't it?
No, the dog wasn't dark.
Yeah, but I believe the dog was also before the rain.
Yes, it wasn't.
Why I'm putting this here.
Yes, I think it was here because it wasn't during the long safety car, but it was during this safety car, and it was at night because you could see a shadowy figure running after the dog on track.
Which,
and they never gave an update on the dog, so I hope the dog was safe.
The funniest part was there were two race control messages 20 seconds apart, where it's like dog on track at Marshall Post 7. 20 seconds later, dog on track at Marshall Post 10.
I thought it was moving.
Yeah, I know. like
fast as that.
Someone made the joke on social media about how Alpine found their new car.
It's true though. That dog was moving.
Stick Mick Schumacher on the dog. There you go.
Go Mick, go.
So as it lost the tires, Kevin Estre comes in. Kevin Escher comes into the car, and all the leaders spit. And as they're dealing with this, the rain hits.
Mm-hmm.
And what would happen here is, so for people who don't know, uh, parts of Le Mans are very well lit, but also you're driving down public roads on like a 6-mile backstretch.
Yeah.
So you don't have the best lighting, and you're driving a lot by headlights. And combine that with heavy rain, and you're just waiting for a disaster. So
And
while
one windshield wiper.
yeah, which
Yeah.
which people were very critical of Eduardo Freitas for throwing the safety car out there, but it's like, no, it's in the best.
It was bad.
It
made sense.
Because what was bound to happen is, and now there's a long history of bad crashes, and specifically, it was in the early 2000s. Mike Rockefeller was driving a LMP1 and coming down the Mulsanne, I think, going into it may have been just coming out of the Mulsanne, but a GT car just ended up driving into him in just a horrific crash.
Oh.
And so you're putting basically what at that point amounted to high 50s amount of cars on a downpour going full speed. It's like that. I don't care if something bad is going to happen. That's going to take that's going to cause you to bring out the safety car no matter what.
Yeah, so just call it.
But what happened here?
A whole day later.
There was like 4 to 5 hours of safety car.
It was a very long time.
The safety car was going for so long. They were running out of gas.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, they had to enlist a 4th safety car to basically end up swapping with one safety car to then have that safety car get refilled to then swap with another safety car.
Safety cars ain't a safety car.
I don't think anyone's ever heard, we need to refill the safety cars.
That definitely was a first.
Which again, peak Le Mans comedy. And then, so that happened, yada, yada, yada. Sometime around 8 a.m., which was towards, as the safety car was, as 8 hours left, the 51, for lack of a better term, shits out oil.
Yes.
Douses the number 7. The 50 rejoins the lead battle. And the 51 and the 3, which the cursed yellow Cadillac gets a pit lane speeding penalty. And so I've skipped over a lot of things in this. For example, the number 4 Penske Porsche binning off the Iron Dames at one point.
Oh yeah.
I forget if this was in the morning. Yeah, this was in the morning, so we will get to it. Number 6 Porsche overtook the 8 for the lead at 6:35 left, and then at 6:20 a.m. we had Aston Martin on its roof.
I forgot.
I forgot they were on.
Which, if I had a nickel for every time a Aston Martin GT car crashed and was on its roof, I'd have two nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice. So for those who don't know, and Owen and Casey, I want you to look this up as I'm talking about it. 2022 Monza, and Aston Martin hit a sausage curb. The door flew off. The car flipped upside down in the air and rolled across the track in one of the most bizarre crashes you will ever see. Just wait till they showed the replay of it, because I watched that crash live and I was like, "What? Pardon?
What just happened?"
Yeah, like it hits a sausage curb, flies up, the door flies off, which is the weirdest part of that whole crash.
Yeah, like how does
Like,
the door fly off?
I don't know. which
Wait, the
can,
way it flips over looks fake.
again, like it's weird that it's happened twice.
Yeah, that's what.
Owen looks so
Whoa.
confused. Owen looks so confused at this.
Oh my god! It literally just hits the curb and the door goes bye.
Yeah,
It's like someone.
What?
It's like someone literally like pulled it from him. Like it was a ghost. Like pulled it. Like what? That's the wild. Crash looks fake. If you didn't tell me that it was like someone was controlling that with a remote control, I would
Yeah,
believe
for
you.
Owen,
Crap.
Owen, you looked insanely baffled at this.
He's gonna watch it 12 more times.
Well, Casey's right. It's the way that it's making that turn, and it hits the curb, and it just goes, and the door's off in an instant. And
You
then
don't even see where the door goes. You just like blink and you miss it.
yeah,
So that's happened
Twice.
so that happened at the 6:20 mark, and I just want to quickly recap various things that have happened up to this point. Actually, that's kind of recapped all of the DNFs at this point. Though I will say, at this current time in LMP2, what was going on was a big battle between United Autosports Inter-Europol competition, and at the time, where are you? And at the time, it was the number 37 Cool Racing, but that car ran into issues along the way. And sadly, despite having such a great lineup, didn't do much. And then in LMGT3, this was the beginning of the Matheny EMA Porsche versus the remaining Team WRT versus the Proton competition Fords.
Yes.
Which the Fords showed up surprisingly, because were you following the Ford memes heading into this race?
The Ford memes? No.
Yeah. Okay.
I was not. I didn't see any.
So this was the first year of the Ford GT3, and unless I'm misremembering, and this was actually the Corvette, the back bumper kept falling off over like the for the first 3 months between IMSA and WEC, the back bumpers just refused to stay on the car, and it was objectively hilarious, but it sucked because the cars just kept having to go into the pits. And but yeah, it was a mess. 519, the Porsche lost the net lead. Kamui Kobayashi was scything away in the car, and the number 5 caddy, being piloted by two-time IndyCar champion Alex Palou, who at the time was the fastest man on track,
Yes.
which is wild given it was his first time there. But
Yeah.
He's so good.
But they were attempting an alternate fuel strategy in which, for those of you who don't know, in terms of listeners, endurance racing has refueling. So basically, teams don't want to have to do a splash and dash at the end of the race, so they're trying to reduce the number of pit stops and make their fuel last, which will become important in the last two hours. As that was going on, 4:05 left for Ferrari, Toyota, Porsche 1, 2, 3 at 3:57 left. The yellow Robert Kubica, Yi Fei, Robert Schwartzman, number 84 Ferrari. Brakes went kaboom. I think's one way to put it. Where the more elegant way to put it is, he pulls into the pits. His brakes are literally smoking, and then the car got put into the garage because of it being electrically unsafe. It would be. I only wish it happened on track solely because at Le Mans there's an area known as Area 51.
Yes.
Which is where if a car is electronically unsafe, they bring it to Area 51. Which I want that purely for the humor. But okay, so with 350 left, 32 and 7, which is who's 32? Christ, 32. I can't find that. Whatever, but two of the cars were running on an alt strategy. The number 8 Toyota was triple stinning tires. At 341 left, Alex Palou had the fastest lap of the race. And then what started was the great chain of pit stops where at 338, the number 2 Caddy pits, number 7 in an inherited lead. 4 minutes later, the number 7 Toyota pits, the number 8 Toyota inherits the lead with 3:23 left. Kevin Estre entered the car. He would leave it about an hour later. Brendan Hartley entered the car with 3:30 left, which he would originally plan to go to the end of the race, but unfortunately, as we'll cover in the last hour, he had to leave the car because of too many track limits stuff.
Yes, yeah.
With Kevin Estre and Alessandro Pierguidi ended up getting into a hypercar boxing match, for the lack of a better term, where those two were racing each other in GT cars a lot a few years ago. I'm not gonna bring that up again. 2:55 left. The number 50 retakes the lead. 250 Ferrari under investigation for a technical infringement, which was still not revealed, and they were only given a reprimand for mysterious, questionable.
And everyone I feel like was holding their breath at that moment because it was like, what's gonna happen?
Ferrari international assistance? Question mark.
In WEC only.
Yeah. With 2 minutes left, Alessandro Pierguidi spun Brendan Hartley. Somehow only got a 5-second penalty.
Yeah, that one was crazy.
Again.
Yeah.
Which again, Eduardo, not your best weekend. We'll take this. We'll take this into account when it comes time for the performance. Comes time for the performance review, buddy. And then at the 155 mark, we get the Ferrari no door close.
Oh, this was even
well, no,
yes.
So I actually have a defense for this in terms of in the prior race, and now this was under safety car, but the number, I believe it's the 99 Proton Porsche was having that same issue on the driver's side under the safety car. And he gave him like 3 or 4 laps to try and do it before basically saying,
"Come in."
Yeah, but he ended up fixing it just in time.
Oh,
Once again, here, Eduardo kind of gave him 3 or 4 laps.
Mm-hmm.
But at Le Mans, that's like 16 minutes to try and fix the doors. So
it's a whole race.
It was a little long, but it was consistent with what he did in the 6 hours of Spa. So that's my only real defense of it.
That's fair.
Sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, do I agree with him waiting that long?
No.
But so that helped open up the door for conspiracy theories, as I talked about. But at the 142 mark, Jose Maria Lopez enters the number 7 Toyota, which is battling for the lead now that Brendan Hartley got spun. And this is the first time I'm bringing up Jose Maria Lopez, because for those of you who don't know, he wasn't even supposed to be in that car. He was supposed to be in the Lexus. And he was in the Toyota hypercar last year in that exact car in the Nick DeVries spot. I think that's the Nick
Right.
DeVries car. Yes, that is
Yeah.
the Nick DeVries car.
Yeah.
He was the one running at a pace deficit, and he was the one who had the most commonly had errors. Which, spoiler, during the last stint, reared its head. But we'll get to that. With 121 left, Alex Palou re-enters the car.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Put him back in. He was quick.
Just under an hour after spinning out Brendan Hartley, the Ferrari got a penalty for spinning out Brendan Hartley for 5 seconds. Meanwhile, let's just ignore the number 50. It was unsafe release that just didn't get flagged. Hello, anyone? Anyone?
It never happened.
Yeah.
No.
It's a myth.
And so now I'm going to bring up what basically helped decide the end of this race. So with an hour left, Jose Maria Lopez spins. He's still fine, but he spins and it costs him some time. With 50 minutes left, this is key. The number 50 Ferrari pits. One pit cycle at Le Mans is typically about 12 to 13 laps, and you basically come in on around 0% fuel, like 0, 1, 2. That's typically around.
Hey, sorry about that. I don't know what just happened.
Was that on my end or?
No, it said I lost. It's still recording, so we're good. But it said, hold on, I have to resend the link to Owen. Let me just pause the recording real quick. Hold your thought. We're back. Wherever we left off.
Nothing happened. Nothing happened there.
Christian, just switch spots on the screen. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Just a quick flip. Yeah.
Okay, so number 7 passes the number 50 while the number 50 is in the pits. This is his final pit stop with 15 minutes left. A typical stint is 45-ish minutes, which is around 12-ish laps. So he basically has to pull out. And so they're basically running the math to where this is going to be their final stop, where they've done it so in like last hour and a half, they have to stop once while everyone else has to stop twice. And this all comes about because of the door.
The damn door.
Because they don't have a good timing to make 2 stops. So their best shot at winning is preying on fuel saving. Which I saw a great tweet because at this point the number 3 Cadillac retired due to issues, which again the cursed number 3 Caddy, which just a quick run through. It's been involved in so many instances throughout the last years, including something involving the steering column locking up in Spa last year, and it just having the car destroyed coming. He was coming out of Eau Rouge, and his car got obliterated going into a wall.
Oh,
but
I feel like I remember seeing a video of that.
Yeah.
Now that you say that,
I'm gonna send it in the private chat because you guys gotta see this. Eau Rouge crash 2023. Yeah. So, and he walked out perfectly fine from this by the way, which this was a massive shunt. Okay, I just sent it in the private chat, but he walked out of this crash fine, which showcases how safe these cars are. Because we talk about F1 as like the pinnacle of engineering, like this is cars going 200 miles an hour for 24 hours, and they're built like tanks.
Yeah, they're.
So for those of you who don't know, the yellow cat is being chased by two Ferraris. It was something in the steering locks up, and the car just goes straight on into the wall, coming out of Eau Rouge going into Radion. So that happened last year, and they had to completely get a new chassis for that car.
Jeez. Sorry, I'm watching it now.
Then,
so am I. The first comment, just to go off of what you're saying, Christian, is the first comment on the video is like, just to give you an idea of how safety has improved. Like, he's saying this exact type of crash would have killed somebody in 1985, and now he says Van der Zande is walking away with half the car missing, and it's just a testament to how strong these cars are built. Like,
yeah,
it's wild.
Yeah, so that happened there. At Le Mans last year, the car had the pace to run, but going into a slow zone at the top of the Dunlop Hill, he got rammed into the back of and had to go into the garage for repairs. It's a car that then, during the 24 hours at Daytona this year, was also suffering from issues. Like it is the most unlucky car for a while, which is a shame. So that happened, but I bring this up because, oh man, Scott Dixon missed out on a fuel saving opportunity, man.
Not Scott Dixon.
Imagine Scott Dixon fuel saving in the 24 hours of Le Mans, everyone. But so he pits with 50 minutes left. The number 7 Toyota pits with 41 minutes left, which is ostensibly 11 to 12 laps left. He's on 84% energy. He's take 84% energy, which counts. The one thing I love about WEC is they have an on-screen graphic for energy, which is a combination of fuel and electric.
Yeah, that was cool to watch, that graphic.
So he has to be able to come back with a fuel sample, and he's blown 16% of his energy in 2 or 3 laps.
Damn.
And this is in a slight drizzle. The number 7 is trying to chase down the number 50, and there's like a 30-ish second gap.
Yeah.
And once again, Jose Maria Lopez spins, but he's still chasing. And the final gap at the end, because with 2% left, the Ferrari crosses the line.
Oh, I was watching that graphic get down. And I was like, please do not.
Like this is the perfect summation of the beauty of Le Mans. Toyota lost that by 1 lap.
Yeah.
Toyota lost that race by 1 lap.
It's wild.
That would have been if they could have had one more lap. That would have been a good end of last lap.
Yeah, but that's also the cool thing about these races that go to time is because you can try and time it to finish at the right point. Which I will also note that. So it was for the number 50 Ferrari, of course, which finished third, which did not win last year. The number 51 won last year. Won. The number 7 Toyota finished second with Kamui Kobayashi, Jose Maria Lopez, and Nick DeVries. The third place car was number 51 Ferrari with James Calado, Alessandro Pierguidi, and Italian Jesus, who's now rocking short hair.
Yeah. I was very sad to see him with short hair. I was like, where the hell did your hair go?
And then in number 4, my beloved number 6 Penske Porsche with Kevin Estra, Lars Van Stor, and the hopefully soon to be departed Andre Latsouar. Because he was in the car for 4 hours. 4 hours in the 24-hour race. They didn't trust him. that he didn't touch the car for the last 12 hours of the race.
Yeah, that's awful.
Um,
Shout out to those other two for.
Yeah, really.
So, the number 22 United Autosports with Oliver Jarvis, Joy Garg, and new McLaren IndyCar driver Nolan
Nolan
Siegel
19-year-old.
one LMP2, the 183 AF Corsa LMP2, one LMP2 Pro Am, which basically means one of the drivers has to be bronze.
Okay.
Right.
So also shout out to Clement Novak for getting on the second step of the LMP2 podium.
Yeah, that was huge.
And an LMGT3 Matheny EMEA, which has been probably the best GT car this year. Took back-to-back wins, winning in Spa last time out. The other Team WRT car, which got bashed by Earl Bamber at Spa, finished second, and the Proton Competition Ford finished third, and the Iron Dames finished fifth. Pain.
So sad. That was good for them, but I was hoping they
Which again,
love them.
cursed. Just cursed. I hate
Yeah.
it. I hate it. But that is the Cliff Notes version of the 24 hours of the mall. But I was listening to you guys talk through drivers you did or did not know in last week, and I wanted to bring up some other ones. So obviously, Kamui Kobayashi,
Yeah.
Nick DeVries, Italian Jesus, Andre Latre, who I believe didn't he do Formula E for 6 years? I think, right?
I think so.
Van
I don't know where my
Thor.
paper went.
Van Thor does that. Makovicky did some Formula E, maybe. I don't remember. Plo, Ilott, Nato, Will Stevens, who who had a very short F1 stint with Manor Marussia in 2015.
Oh, I'm not familiar with him.
Manor Marussia. That's a name.
Yep. Kvyat, Teresta, and hold on. Stoffel Van Dorn. Casey Stoffel.
I know.
Van Dorn.
I don't care. I knew I was gonna butcher that one.
No Siegel, Clement, no Black, but it.
Bestie.
Yeah, Vesti. The interesting thing is, if you look through many of the hypercar drivers, so many of them tend to have experience of they were an F1 reserve or test driver for years.
Yes. Yeah.
Which,
I mean, you had Djokovic too.
Yeah, which people jokingly call WEC the F1 retiring home. But also, not everyone works in WEC. All due respect to Mick, but Mick Schumacher hasn't firmly adapted himself yet.
Oh yeah, no.
But even Felipe Nasser in the Porsche spent 2 years racing for Sauber. This is great. This is what is cool to see. These drivers who may not necessarily have panned out in F1 for one reason or another getting a chance to do stuff like this.
Oh yeah.
But what were your guys' general thoughts on the race as first time, let's just say, serious viewers?
I liked it a lot. I watched more than I thought I was going to watch. But no, I thought it was very entertaining. As you said, like you can kind of zone out for a little bit and check back in every once in a while, but it was cool. And like I said, it's cool there are drivers that you obviously know names, so I knew who to look for and stuff, especially with following more IndyCar this year as well. I had some of those guys to look for, but it was definitely it was interesting, and I really did like watching it. It is so cool watching like all that they do during the pit stops, that they are wiping the car. I will say it was one small little detail. The car can be covered in like the tar and black, and then in the pit stop they're just like wiping off the team logo or the car number, and that's it. I'm like, okay.
Well,
You got to hit the important stuff.
I know.
Well, to be in compliance with the rules, the car number does have to be visible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured that, but it was cool. It was literally just like they would just like wipe it, and then it'd be like the last thing.
It was not quite it was not quite as good as last year, solely because last year, like basically everyone had a chance to lead, and it was really only down to Toyota versus Ferrari at the end.
Yeah.
But this was a very good year, and also this year, for the first time ever, 9 cars on the lead lap to end this race. Which guys, balance of performance works. Who would have thought? You know,
Who would have thought?
But there's 2 side things to this event before I hop off that I want to talk about. So the World Endurance Championship announced the calendar for next year.
Yes, literally, yeah.
It's all the same races as this past year, except we have a triple header of IndyCar, F1, and Le Mans.
Same weekend.
Which sucks.
It's gonna be so good.
No, it sucks.
It sucks because
like racing red zone on my TV instead of like.
Well, no,
but it's for the drivers that want that like Alex Plo and Scott Dixon, they can't do it because they're going to be in Indy. Like it sucks for those drivers. Obviously, there's no current F1 drivers, but like, and who knows what Formula E schedule looks like? But
so historically speaking, because there's a lot of overlap between Formula E and WEC, but Formula E typically has a race the weekend before. So they historically always avoid avoid. So I'm not worried about that, but it sucks in that sense, and it's annoying, but there's not much we can do, even though F1 and IndyCar avoided Le Mans for the last 2 years. But
it's annoying, but
it does mean we're gonna miss Max Verstappen pulling a Nico Hülkenberg. Which, do you guys know that story?
I feel like I'm familiar with it because that doesn't like it. It rings a bell for me. So, that connection.
I'm trying to make sure I get the exact year right on this. I think it was maybe 2015.
Yeah, you're right, because I literally searched his name at Le Mans and it gave me 2015.
So 2015, because of how the schedule lined up, Nico Hülkenberg raced in 2 WEC races while simultaneously racing for Force India in F1, and he won Le Mans.
Oh yes, now you're saying this. I do know this story. Yep.
And sadly, as long as Max Verstappen is fighting for championships, I don't think he will be jettisoning his way off. But
and not until Red Bull joins Hypercar or something.
So here's the running joke. Hi, Ford. Yes, Ford.
Yeah.
Ford, Red Bull, Hypercar.
It's only a matter of time.
Well, for the longest time, I was joking that the way to keep Newey around is to just ship him off to Ford and have him design a hypercar to keep Max happy.
No, Max probably would take it too.
Yeah,
Max probably would take it.
yeah. But the other two key pieces of news: it is officially confirmed next year for the World's Endurance Championship. 2 Aston Martin Valkyries. Lance Stroll, please come on down. Come on
There
down.
you go.
Come on down, my friend. So the reason that theory has been popping around is this. In about 2021, that program got put on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
And this was when Stroll kind of took over. And then late last year, after speculation, because basically they have to convert the Newey car to be a race legal car, which for those of you who don't know, the Red Bull, well, it was when Red Bull were partnered with Aston Martin. Newey designed a hypercar known as the Aston Martin Valkyrie. But it was taken over. It was shelved, and then last year it was like Valkyrie ? And then they announced that they were going to do the Valkyrie, and it was going to be run by Heart of Racing. Which, do you guys know who Gaben is?
No, I definitely do
No.
not know.
So, more people may know him as Gabe Newell, who is the founder and president of Valve. Do you know who Valve is?
Yes, I know what Valve is. Yeah.
So this is a guy who has made billions off of video games. Who's just like, I'm gonna fund a racing team, sure. Which again, motorsports, baby.
Yeah, right.
But during all the announcement stuff, Stroll was at press conferences. And this also officially came out as Lance was in his end of season tailspin, and not long after, I think he shoved his trainer and got caught on camera.
Oh yep.
Oh yes, that's right.
So ever since then, it's just been the like, come on, Lance, go drive your daddy's hypercar.
The easiest way to get him out of the F1 seat.
Yeah.
Yes, Lance.
The nicest and easiest way.
Right, Lance, Daniel Kvyat
Mm-hmm.
and Roman Grosjean are driving hypercars. You can definitely drive.
You can do
hypercar.
it too.
You can drive a hypercar.
He could definitely do it. Yeah, no,
you do too, buddy. So that was big news, but that was paired with news that Chip Ganassi, you are no longer you are going to officially no longer be running Cadillacs, buddy. Which this is a two-pronged thing. WEC is mandating that at least two factory cars are run by any manufacturer, and Chip would only commit to one.
Mm.
So there's that, but also the wet caddies weren't doing that well under his watchful eye, and so what's happening instead is in WEC, Joda is now going to be running the Cadillacs next year.
Oh, okay.
So Joda is moving from being a customer Porsche team to being a factory Cadillac team.
Okay.
Which it'll be interesting to see what happens there in terms of drivers. But more importantly, Chip is losing his IMSA caddies to Wayne Taylor Racing Andretti. Which is interesting for multiple reasons, including Andretti Cadillac Global F1.
Oh boy.
Stir the pot there. But also, it's telling about Honda as well, because they were driving Acuras, but Honda was never willing to commit to Le Mans. By switching to Cadillac, because the thing with WEC is because it's a BOP thing, in order to race at Le Mans, you have to have you can only race under the banner of a type of car that's already in WEC, which is why you don't see Mercedes GT3s and stuff there, because Mercedes GT3s aren't in WEC.
Makes sense.
because Andretti want to race at Le Mans, and Honda hasn't been willing to be like, yes. And like, let's make something clear for those. Mario Andretti raced at Le Mans 9 times. He never won, but he raced there 9 times.
Yeah.
So even if they're racing them in IMSA, I know they're gonna find a way to get him on the grid, because it just makes all the sense in the world. But that's another interesting thing, because it puts potentially some interesting drivers on the market. Because the thing here is, many of the hypercar drivers are very currently for Chip Ganassi Cadillac are very Chip loyal guys who have been with him forever.
Mm-hmm.
Like specifically in endurance racing, Sebastian Bourdais and Renger van der Zande. So it's a question of what's going to happen to them, because I know Seb's going to want to race at Le Mans, but is Chip going to run a GT3 and those guys are going to be happy with that?
No,
I don't think so.
Who knows?
Who knows? But it's an interesting situation that we're going to see evolving over the next few months.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to follow. It'll be very interesting.
Well, Owen, I think I tripled our potential estimate you gave me. So
it's fine. It's fine.
Don't worry about it. It's good. No, well, yeah,
good.
But yeah.
That
No,
was
thank
perfect.
you.
Recap.
Thank you for that recap. We appreciate you. We appreciate you doing that and taking all those notes for us and everything, because I certainly wasn't staying up all night and watching the whole race. So
well,
we appreciate it.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Hopefully, we can talk about more different racing stuff in the future.
Yeah, of course.
I won't be able to watch the race, but for those interested, on July 14th, it's the 6 hours of Interlagos.
Oh yes.
So you have 40 cars racing around the 200 whatever mile in Interlagos, which is sure to be a clusterfuck. But
yeah, that's definitely
it's gonna be a mess. Yeah.
I will notably say that's a race they haven't run in I think almost a decade.
Oh,
so that'll be interesting to watch. Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one then.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is my Le Mans for Dummies recap. I don't know what to call it.
No, that was perfect.
That was perfect.
This is your Le Mans recap. Yeah. Thank you so much for talking with us about it. Thank you.
Peace.
We'll see you later.
Sir.
See ya.
Le Mans. I think that's pretty well, doing a 24-hour race in an hour. Recap. I think that's pretty good, with a few technical difficulties, but
they don't have to know.
We got there.
We do have to reshare our screen now.
Our show is built off of technical difficulties, so
I know. I was telling him. I said it's without fail. Whenever we have a guest or someone joining us, we get
there's always an issue.
There's always an issue. But yes, we won't. Oh, let me reshare my screen. Oh, I'll do it because mine's gonna pop up. So I'll just wait. You'll go first, and then I'll share mine. But before we will make this long, because Owen will do his meme. My meme goes into weekly news, and then we'll do our predictions and we'll wrap it up. But first, as always, weekly news, meme of the week.
Yes.
The beautiful picture you've seen. The code's been going at the bottom of the screen. Use code underground. It's UNDRG RD10 at ipf1store.com. Get some sick F1 art. But yeah, so we will get going. So Owen will go first.
Sorry, hold on. I just found this easier way for us to say the code too. It's just Underground 10 without any vowels.
Oh my god, okay, thank you.
So we don't have to spell it out every time.
D-R-G-R.
Yeah. I just thought of that, and I thought of it, and I was like, oh, let me check. And I looked, we're good. Except for the U. The U is a vowel, but you need the U to start it off. So
okay. All right.
Yeah.
You're first.
I'll go first. Mine is not much of a meme, but anybody who knows me knows how excited I am about this. For Spider-Man 2, the video game, for the PS5, Lando Norris was collaborating on some suits, and they just dropped, actually it's today as of this recording, so June 18th. It bothers me how they do this, but so if you're watching on video, there's 4 suits and they always do different styles and everything. So we have a primarily black one with yellow lines. That one is definitely the Lando Norris one inspired, although I kind of wish it was flipped and it was primarily yellow with the black lines. I feel like that would be more towards him. Then we have your traditional Spider-Man colors with the red, blue, and white for the game. Then you have a black and white, which this game makes sense because it's Venom and all that stuff, and he's got the black and white suit and whatnot. And then in the back, you have just like a random one-off. It's a blue. It looks like blue and orange. And they're pretty cool. I'm in the middle of replaying this game, so I'm going to switch to this suit right now because they're for free. I love you, Insomniac Games, whenever you do that. But that's my meme of the week. It's not a meme at all. It's just something that I wanted to call out, and I thought was really cool, and I'm very excited about it.
But what are you going to play as, the Lando one?
I'm going to play as the Lando one. I'm going to play as the primary Lando one, yeah.
Okay. All right, so before I share my screen, literally maybe right before, an hour before we recorded, 2 hours before we record.
2 hours at most.
I called this the other day. I literally posted the text message I sent to Tasia, F1 Femme. During the Le Mans podium, I said, I have a feeling Zach Brown is going to scoop up Nolan Siegel. And now it makes sense. Nolan Siegel, the car he was driving in Le Mans, technically was McLaren. What does Zach Brown and Aaron McLaren do today? Say, see ya, Teddy Porkchops. Kick him to the curb.
See ya, Teddy.
After giving him maybe 2 races, and they signed Nolan Siegel to the number 6 Aaron McLaren car for the rest of the season. So it's literally a torn because Nolan Siegel, I think he's good. I mean, he just won Le Mans in one of the classes as a 19-year-old. He also was this close to making Indy 500 because he was in the last 4 people to qualify. He this close at 18, 19 years old. And his mindset when he got kicked out of Indy 500 qualifying, he was like, I mean, I wasn't going to go home if I wasn't going flat out. That's such a racer's mindset. Mindset. So I am excited to see him. He will be racing this weekend because there's also an IndyCar race this weekend. But yes, it's a very torn thing. But the minute news breaks, the internet blows up, and especially because of Aaron McLaren, because in the last 9 months they've signed David Malukas, they fired David Malukas because he got hurt in between. Yeah. They have Callum Ilott first take over. Then they have Teddy Porkchops, aka Theo Pourchaire, come in. Then they say Theo is going to finish out the rest of the season, and they say, never mind, kick him out, sign Nolan Siegel. So within the past 9 months, Aaron McLaren has had reality TV show worthy storylines. So
it's a good thing there is a reality TV show.
Yeah. I texted Tasia and our friend Ellie, who does IndyCar stuff. I said, this is why I need 100 days to go beyond the 500.
Yeah. It's got to go past it.
Yeah. So the minute, it wasn't even just random people on the internet. I have a ton. There was drivers that also were posting meme-worthy things. David Malukas' has now been deleted, but it's in here. So this one says, how some people start drama on social media because they're bored? Do you think Zach Brown knows he could probably do that without needing to sign a driver? Yeah. You would think he would know, but
yeah,
apparently doesn't. This one is a few. Top one says IndyCar contracts are written on napkins signed with invisible ink. This middle one is an IndyCar driver, Connor Daly, saying no one is safe, and it's a guy in a fire suit spraying with a flamethrower gun.
Oh, that's so good.
The bottom one, call Aaron McLaren, Leonardo DiCaprio, with the way they're working their way through a collection of below 25-year-olds.
Fantastic. God, I hate the internet sometimes, but I love it. It's so good.
This one, the Arrow McLaren social media admins, every time they have to make a new driver announcement. This is also a GIF. It's like one of the confetti cannons. So good. Continuing behind the scenes at Arrow McLaren, it's the photo of the guy when he sees the other girl and his girlfriend is looking. So Zach Brown is the guy. Teddy Porkchops is the girl holding hands with Zach Brown, and then Nolan Siegel is the girl walking forward. And this one's retweeted on the Arrow McLaren post.
Oh, this is so good.
Oh, this person had 2. They were that good. Okay, so
that is awesome. That's a great one at the bottom.
Man, if only IndyCar had a reality show that covered the season beyond the marquee race in May. Yes.
What did we do? Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh.
Still slightly surprised that McLaren have never seemed that interested in building a hypercar since it would allow Zach Brown to sign at least 6 more drivers.
Listen, if he wants all the drivers, build a goddamn hypercar.
This top one, Alex Rossi doesn't even know who drives the number 6 anymore. He shows up to work in a new brunette every other week, just keeps rolling. Well, because the one thing I said to Tasia in the text messages I post, I said, I don't know, I don't want it to happen, but I have a feeling. And I said, no one just fits the look. Fits the bill? Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're all same person, same look, different font. This next one, it's a video of the Bus Bros, Scotty Mack and Joseph Newgarden, I'm saying from last year, interviewing Alex Palou. So there's drama with Alex Palou because he signed a contract with McLaren, then backed out of it. McLaren wanted to sue him, all this stuff. So it's Palou, Malukas, Pourchaire, and then the video is Scotty Mack looking through a drawer, and they're like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm looking for the McLaren contracts. That's the video. Yeah, this bottom one, I hope someone does this. I think it's time someone makes a fallen tribute video for the drivers that McLaren sacked. That's including we need Danny Rick in there as well.
Yeah. Like an in memoriam video. Yeah.
Speaking of Scotty Mack, IndyCar driver, let's take a moment of silence for all the trees sacrificed from the McLaren contracts. And it's one for my homies. And then last but not least, David Malukas' tweet, my honest reaction. And it's him sitting in a car, the classic car, eating chips, not a care in the world. Yeah, that's my meme of the week.
Oh, that's good. It's so good. McLaren, I love you, but you're not doing too hot.
That's why I tweeted. I posted earlier, and I said, Zach Brown is the true villain of motorsport. I don't make the rules.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. All he cares about is one single thing, and that is winning. But yes. Moving on. Predictions time. Start of the triple header. Start of the triple header. I don't think I realized that there was, what is it in between? Red Bull Ring?
It's Red Bull, yeah. So it goes Spain Red Bull Ring. And then Silverstone. Yes, thank you.
Yes, because newsflash, we'll say this quick. We'll talk about this more next week. We're having another watch party. We had so much fun before. We're doing another one for Silverstone. We can talk about that next week. But yes, Spain is this weekend. Home race for Alonso and Carlos Sainz in Barcelona. Predictions. It's a normal race weekend, just a race.
Yeah. It's not a sprint race or anything.
Red Bull Ring is, because it's Red Bull Ring. Next week.
Red Bull Ring's a sprint race. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
So I'm going to hopefully channel you in Monaco this week because I've seen some reports that Andrea Stella has said that, McLaren's bringing some upgrades.
Oh, wait, before you go. Oscar Piastri posted pictures today, and his knee was bleeding in one of them, so he's got injured, so you know what that means.
Oh, no. Oh, God.
His win's coming.
It's happening. Shit, that might change up my predictions now.
You don't have to.
I'm gonna go Lando P1.
Okay.
I'm going Lando P1. I think I really, really want to put Red Bull in P2, but I'm just not that confident in it. You know who I think will be coming back with a fucking vengeance this weekend?
Who?
Ferrari.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're going to be, especially
they have a lot
coming
of
off
upgrades
of,
coming.
Yes, and especially coming off of your ultimate high in Monaco
Yep.
to then your ultimate low in Canada, and it's just, let's just fucking come back with a vengeance. So I'm going to go McLaren, Ferrari, McLaren. It's going to be Lando, Charles, Oscar. That's going to be my top 3.
So you're doing 3, not 4?
I'm going to do 3 because since Red Bull's not involved, I'm going to do 3.
Okay. So I'm going to have Red Bull involved because I feel like it's the first normal track we've had in a while.
Yes, it's definitely a little bit more on the
I think
balanced
Max is going to be on a vengeance. He doesn't want to be not the fastest car on that track. So I'm going to put Max in P1.
Okay.
I'm going to put, following your suit, I think Ferrari's going to come back with a vengeance. So I'm going to put Ferrari 2-3.
All right.
I don't care which order, but Ferrari 2-3.
I was going to say.
I mean, you do know
Charles
who I want. You do know who I want second, but yeah, no. I mean, would it be nice Carlos's last home race as a Ferrari driver to get higher? Yes. So I'm just gonna do Max first, Ferrari 2-3, in any particular order. But yes, I can close this out if you want me to.
Close us out. The other small bit of news that we didn't talk about, the F1 movie.
Oh yes.
Release date was revealed. It's super quick. It's the Brad Pitt movie that was filming in Silverstone last year. Got put on hold because of writer's strike.
We're still filming in Silverstone.
Yes, internationally, it's going to be released June 27th, 2025. So about a year now, just a little bit over a year until it comes out in theaters. But it's an Apple original film, so if you have Apple TV Plus, it'll probably be on there within like 2 months of it being released in theaters. So yeah. I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until it's on there to watch it. But it looks good. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the trailer to come out, see what it's actually like. So
no, I'm excited for. I need a trailer too because it's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Brad Pitt. I know not everyone loves him, but like the technology and the cameras and stuff they use in Top Gun are just sick, and I know some of those are being used in this as well. So I'll be excited to see.
Yeah.
What that would look like. So
Mark's article on it today, he wrote a little tidbit about it, and it covers Lewis Hamilton is an executive producer on it, and he was like, he talks about the guy. He's like, we have the same guy who did the choreography for stunts in Top Gun Maverick, so it's like we're trying to get. He's like, what I really pushed was to capture the speed of the cars. He was like, we're like adjusting the frame rates of the video that's captured, all this stuff. He was like, we want to get this accurate. So I'm excited to see it. I'm
excited too because like stuff from they filmed last year, like when it came out, I think the drivers are technically the other drivers on the grid. Like I don't think there's other supporting actors. I feel like it's just that team that they're following. Yeah. Like it's about Brad Pitt and the other guy. So I feel like it'll be cool. I said earlier, I said I hope like most of the grid is able to go, and it is between Montreal and Austria. So like it would be cool. The premiere's never the day it comes out. So like, and I swear I saw it might be premiering at Cannes. So I don't know.
Oh, it might.
So I feel like most of the drivers are going to be there. If they're in the movie, I feel like most of them are going to be there. But
yeah.
But yes, forgot to touch on that as well. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for joining us on episode 65, our Le Mans recap. Very quick Spanish GP preview or predictions. We will be back, or as always, socials have been scrolling at the bottom. Please give us a follow on Instagram, Threads, and Twitter. We'll be back next week with a recap and a preview.
Yes.
Then the week after that, we will be back with a recap and a preview. So yes, we will see you all next week. Thank you so much for joining and listening, and have a nice week. See ya.
Peace out.